Myself and the team at John Banks Colchester are even more excited than normal about the Mazda MX-5, and that's because this year, 2024, it's not only getting one facelift, which is the car that I have here, but there'll also be a 35th anniversary car, which we can't wait to see what they've done to it. Hi guys, I'm Tish and welcome back to the John Banks review channel. In today's video, we're going to be focusing on this. This is the facelifted 2024 Mazda MX-5. They've made some changes to the interior, exterior, and most importantly, some really important changes to the way that it drives. So if you want to find out all of those changes, then please keep watching. And if you like new car reviews and car content, and you want to see the 35th anniversary car first, then you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Plus, if you wanted to take the MX-5 out for a spin for yourself, then you can do that at Mazda Colchester. I'll pop their details in the description box. First of all, let's talk about the external changes to the Mazda MX-5 because they're pretty small. But then again, this is a really lovely looking car. The MX-5 is pretty unique nowadays. There isn't many two-seater sports cars actually available on the market, so it certainly didn't need any major improvements. But what they have done is they've just slightly tweaked the design and mostly the lights. So whereas before, the daytime running lights were separate in the Mazda MX-5, just underneath, they've now put them into the headlamps, so everything is much neater inside those headlamps. And around the back, it's more small changes like the front, mostly to the lights. So whereas before you had a fully red rear light, you now have the centre, which is finished in a clear design. You also now have slightly different deflectors as well, but other than that, it's very much as it was before, and that means you get a great twin tailpipe, which looks fantastic. Again, it matches with the real styling of this car. It looks very old school. But what about the specs? Have they changed?
Your choices of engine are still between a 1.5 and 2 litre, both of which now feature extensive stop-start technology that recoups energy under braking to help power the ancillary electronics to save fuel. The 1.5 produces 130 brake horsepower and 112 pound-feet of torque, and it hits 0 to 62 in 8.3 seconds, while the 2 litre is good for 182 brake horsepower and 151 pound-feet, and the same sprint in 6.5 seconds. Like before, you can still choose between a convertible, known as a roadster, or a retractable fastback, known as an RF, like the one featured in today's video. The 8 model range features 4 Roadster and 4 RF models with a choice of Prime Line, Exclusive Line and Homura trim grades. Prime Line cars are powered by the 132 PS 1.5 litre Skyactiv G engine, while the Exclusive Line can be chosen with either 1.5 litre or 184 PS 2 litre Skyactiv G engine. The range-topping Homura is exclusively matched to the 184 PS unit.
You see, the thing that I love about Mazda so much is they're cars that are built by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. And for instance, the Mazda MX-5, it's the only thing that does what it does for the money that it's actually listed for. But is that good enough for Mazda? No. They want to keep developing this car and making it better and better. And that's why there's some serious changes to the way that it drives for this generation.
One of the most significant changes for the driving experience is the addition of a track mode for the DSC or Dynamic Stability Control. This is a welcome improvement because transitioning from full assistance to no assistance can be a bit challenging for the previous MX-5. With the new track mode, which can be activated via a button near the door, drivers can have the best of both worlds. They can enjoy a front-engined rear-wheel drive balance while still having some assistance in the background. The track mode strikes a good balance, neither being too lenient nor too strict, and it enhances the overall driving experience.
And that means that you can push this car just a little bit harder through the corners and you don't have to worry too much about spinning out, although I have to say, always drive responsibly, because though they've added those changes, it's never going to have full control with being a rear wheel drive. But that's kind of the nice thing, because it has a balance between being fun and playful with the rear wheel drive, but also having that new added tech, which means it's not quite out of control like some cars like the BMW M2, although I do know that that's some reasons why people really like those cars. But for me personally, who would probably always choose an all-wheel drive sports car, I really like the fact that there's just a little extra added layer of protection.
It also comes with a new limited slip differential for improved stability. The LSD has different cam angles depending on acceleration and deceleration, optimising slip control. Although the difference might not easily be noticeable, the traction is strong and predictable.
But it's not all about those mechanical upgrades, it's also had some upgrades to safety as well.
This includes all the safety equipment you'd expect, like airbags, anti-lock brakes and electronic stability control. But Mazda also offers its iActive Sense active safety technology, as seen on the Mazda 3. These systems include traffic sign recognition and driver attention alert, lane keeping assist with lane departure warning and front smart city brake support. From exclusive line upwards, additional features include rear smart city brake support, while exclusive line and Hamura trims add blind spot monitoring systems with rear cross traffic alert and vehicle exit warning.
What I love about this car is, though it has that traffic sign recognition and those speed warnings, which can be really helpful if you're in an area that you don't know, but it also has a button just located on the right hand side of the steering wheel, and this will turn the noise of them systems off with one touch of a button.
The 4th generation MX-5 is the best it's ever been from factory. With subtle refinements, the ride is slightly smoother, the gear shift is even better, and the brake pedal feels firmer. Mazda is a company that continuously improves its Roadster, always striving for perfection.
A much needed change for this new generation of car is a larger infotainment screen. It's now much wider and it feels a little bit more premium and more current and up to date. As everybody knows, the main way that you control a Mazda screen is via the central scroller, and this makes it really easy for controlling when you're driving. It's much better than prodding at the screen, but sometimes I've found that when using Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is now wireless, it can sometimes be a little bit difficult to navigate around all of the systems when you want to access them quickly, especially when using your maps. Well, the brilliant thing is the new car actually has a touchscreen when using your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So now you get the best of both worlds. Mazda have always been known for their dinkiness, and don't worry, that hasn't changed. It's still a very compact car, but that's kind of what makes it special. Lots of cars are getting larger and larger, but this car is still true to itself at being absolutely tiny. And that possibly means that if you're over 6 foot or 6'5", you possibly won't even fit in the Mazda MX-5, which is definitely a rarity in elsewhere in the market, especially when you go over to America where the cars are absolutely huge. In terms of quality for this new generation, it's just moved a step up once more. It really has a very high quality feel. I love the leather across the dashboard with the contrast white stitching, and you've got the same contrast stitching down the seats as well. These seats are finished in leather and they're really comfortable. I also love the fact that you have some removable cup holders. They simply clip out and then you can place them elsewhere in the cabin, making it practical and also customizable. In terms of being driver focused, everything is really easy to reach, as you'd expect. In fact, I can already reach right over to the side of the car, but everything is tunneled towards you. You feel very, very tunneled in this vehicle, but you've got easy access to your climate control dials, which are still physical. You've got keyless entry and start, and of course you've got a classic manual handbrake and manual gearbox, which feel quite a rarity nowadays. The boot latch can be a little bit tricky to find, but it's just under here in the bottom right hand corner. Now inside the boot it is of course very dinky, however You'll probably be quite surprised at how deep it is in there. You could easily fit a week's shop or a weekend away. Well, for most people, maybe not me. Mazda are not a brand for following the crowd, never have been, and hopefully they never will be. And things like their engines are proof of that. They're not doing what everyone else in the market is doing. They're doing things their own way, the Mazda way. And when it comes to the Mazda MX-5, that is the perfect ingredient for a fantastic two-seater sports car. Sure, they could have done some major upgrades to this car, but it would have taken away what makes it so special. But let me know, what do you think of the Mazda MX-5? I know that this car has such a big following, so what do you think of the little tweaks for this generation? Let me know in the comments down below. And what are you hoping for out of the 35th anniversary car? Let me know down below. Don't forget, if you wanted to take the MX-5 out for a spin for yourself, then you can do that at Mazda Colchester. I'll pop their details in the description box. If you have enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more, then make sure you hit the subscribe button. Until next time, guys, see you later.